and I appreciate everybody's patience today joining in. We are still a little bit in setup time because I am live from Daytona Beach, and I am running just a few minutes behind with the hotel service here. Goodness. So, but we will be on shortly. So we got 45 now on. Okay, we're at 50. Jim, you ready to go?
I'm ready. Good afternoon, everybody.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. I want to
Go right ahead, Peggy.
Okay, I guess Peg just froze.
This is Peggy West. I'm your moderator and the organizer for the webinar today. Can you hear me now?
I can't.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, everybody for your patience. There you go. I'm the organizer, and I'm not organized, it looks like, right? But thank you, everybody, for your patience. Today, we have a longtime friend in the industry for me and a presenter for you today that's going to tell you all about the HVAC systems, maintenance, and managing your contractors, Jim Maguire. So what we're going to do first is go through some housekeeping. Remember to put your questions into the Q&A, not into the chat, but use the Q&A, please. And also, this is a CEU about a week, okay? And he will get those posted. The other thing is to mention is that if you have a comment, you can put that into the chat, and you can look into the comment area for the vendor information. But I will be sending out a sponsor sheet, and the sponsor sheet will have everyone's contact information on it, and it will probably go out on Monday because I am out of town right now. So with that, I'm going to introduce our sponsors, and I'm going to go just in no particular order. I'm going to start with Dahlia Anise from Legacy Life Plan. Dahlia, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
Thank you,
great.
Peggy.
Well, tell us
Okay.
yourself.
Okay, so my name is Dahlia Anise. I'm an estate planning attorney with Legacy Life Plan. So I do wills, trusts, and incapacity planning. I do estate planning. I just want to share a situation that I've encountered in the last few days, because a lot of people think that estate planning is for the rich, or they have an old estate plan they don't want, and they feel like it's okay. My children are not going to fight. Everything is going to be fine. They can take care of it. Where this woman, she passed away and she never updated her estate plan. She had a very simple estate plan. And now her 3 children are in a very difficult situation because they are fighting over her stuff. And when I say fighting over her stuff, I'm talking about the mother's blood pressure machine that she received from Medicare. It's such a difficult situation. And the only people that win when there's fighting are the appraisers. So far, they paid the appraisers $30,000. And the appraisers are not just appraising jewelry. They will take the blood pressure machine and research the value of it, and they get paid by the hour. They're going to take that toaster and look and see how much it's worth. And unfortunately, too, they got different appraisers, and different appraisers are appraising things completely different. One of them is appraising a piece of jewelry twice as much as the other one. So now even the appraisers are not agreeing. And the attorneys, they each have their own attorney now. And the attorneys are not helping to calm things down because they're getting paid $700 an hour. So why should they? So I recommend that you review your estate plan. You talk to someone who's not just doing a simple estate plan. I would love to support you. I will put my link in the chat to have a free phone consultation with me. Let's have a chat. Let's see if we're a good fit. And let me answer your questions to make sure this doesn't happen to you. And again, people are not just fighting over the expensive stuff. They're fighting over very small, petty things like the mom's blood pressure machine. So I would love to support you, and I'm here if you have any questions. And thank you again, Peggy, for holding this webinar. Peggy, you're muted.
Okay, I was just saying it was so important, that information, because we kind of take for granted, at least I do, what needs to be done when someone passes away. So with that, I want to go on and introduce Diana O'Lurch. She is the Vice President for Best Roofing. Diana, if you'll introduce yourself and tell us what you guys are doing these days.
Yeah, thank you so much, Peggy. Good morning. Well, afternoon now. The VP of Best Roofing, as Peggy said, and the company's been in business for 48 years now. We love to help you with absolutely any roofing needs you have, from like small stuff to big. We do absolutely everything. So we can do a simple repair in a single family house to the biggest projects in a high rise. So we do industrial, commercial, residential, shopping plazas, absolutely everything. We cover the whole state. So if you need anything anywhere, please contact me. I'm going to put the information on the chat box. We're offering a free roof estimate for anyone that is part of this event today, of this class. So if you want to just find out and figure out what is, the condition of your roof, please contact me. As I say, it's a free roof inspection for one building. If you have more than one, then we can discuss. But if it's only one, we can send someone and get you on track and be sure that you know what you need to know, that you are not paying more, that you are not being forced by insurance to, like, maybe re-roof now, when you maybe have 2 or 3 more years. That is, for a big project like that, it means a lot because it gives you more time for saving. So as I said, I will put the information on the chat box, and thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. It's very important, especially right now. We're in hurricane season. Take pictures. They'll help you out with everything. So great introduction, Diana. Okay, with that, I'm just going to mention the following other sponsors by name. They're not on for one reason or another, appointments or so on. We always have these busy professionals, which are awesome to use, and they will be on the sponsor sheet. And I'm going to start with Munyon Contractors. They are full service painters. They've been in business about 70 years. Are all over the state of Florida. The contact on there on the East Coast is Shelly Rovner, and the contact on the West Coast is Shawnee Haas. So either one of those, the numbers will be on the sponsor sheet. We also have Bob Aleka, Vice President for Community Services from Faster.io. This is a streaming service. If you're up for your cable or you want to take a look at a different way to move from cable and move into streaming, it's a great way to do it because you get to take it everywhere you go. So Bob Aleka would be the contact. Then we have Dawn Miller. Dawn Miller is with the Paving Lady, and she is available, everything to do with paving. And then we have Nicole Johnson. Nicole is with Hafer. She is a partner and also the key operations manager at Hafer for CPA services. Again, offering services around the state. We also have Jamie Gelfand. Jamie is out right now. I'm going to just mention that please keep her in your prayers. She's recovering from a little medical issue, but she is doing good day by day, better day by day. But First Citizens Bank is full service. They're doing a lot of lending here these days, and she can be reached also on the sponsor sheet, and they are all over the state. We also have City Quiet Windows and Doors. City Quiet is a offices. I think they have 2 offices now, maybe 4 offices. Ben Friedman is the contact there. We also have Alanek Railings. Alanek is the manufacturer, and they also do repairs of your railings, and they do a great job. They're based right out of West Palm Beach, and they also go around the state. Then we have COA Solutions. Daniel's on vacation this week. You might know Daniel from previous webinars as a moderator as well. But he is a broker for insurance, and he does free reviews for you. He'll take a look at your plan and make sure you have every clause up to date and what you need for your current situation and possibly take a look at saving money. He's been saving people quite a bit of money. So Daniel Baum. I believe we have on Tom Acosta. Tom, you want to introduce yourself and tell us about APB Security?
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tom Acosta. I'm APB Security, American Protection Bureau. We've been around for over 20 years in the Tri-County area with a very satisfied customer list. We are a boutique type of security that we customize everything to your needs. We're not the most expensive. We're not the cheapest. We're just in the right position to give you the best quote. Security right now, you should be talking to them. There's hurricane season. There's a lot of tension in the world. Things are going on, and it's good to have an extra pair of eyes that if he can actually work with you, if you have an insurance problem, they can go to court with you, for you, because they're qualified, testify, and they also have they're licensed individuals. So it's good to be in communication with them at all times, before, during, after the storm, or before anything happens. And things will happen. It's just a matter of time. Please keep us in mind. Tom from APB Security. Have a really good day.
Okay, awesome, Tom. And I want to mention it because you didn't, is that there's a lot of construction going on right now, and they are also watching projects for security for construction, right, Tom?
Correct.
Isn't that a part of your business that you do?
Yes.
So
Yes,
you may have a security company there, but you may want to have just them for that, or they can take over the whole community and watch your security. But they are experts, and reach out to them just to get an estimate. It doesn't hurt to get an estimate. Pena is the president, and he is always available to take an estimate for concrete restoration and also painting. We also have United Professional Engineer. I don't see Siobhan on. She normally is. So I'm going to guess that she is also in an appointment. But Giglio is the senior representative and owner, president of United Professional Engineering, based out of West Palm Beach, and he will go all over the state. But primarily East Coast projects have been his forte. Carmelo is also carrying the 20 actions that is critical. A lot of times engineering companies have to go outside of their company and hire someone like Carmelo to do these. No. Also, we have Brooke Cavender from Southwest Elevators. Brooke has been in the business with her family. It's the third generation now, and they are covering East Coast and West Coast now, and also Orlando. And last but certainly not least, the wind beneath my wings, I want to introduce Vinteum software. I cannot thank you enough. Your whole team helps put this together and put up with things like today, helping me through a difficult opening. But to explain this all, I want to turn this over to Laura. And Laura, take it away.
Thank you very much, Peggy. Hi, everyone. My name is Laura. I'm the sales executive here at Vinteum. So you might be wondering, what's Vinteum? What do we do? So our product is Neigbrs, and Neigbrs is a software or tool, you might call it, that specializes in community management. We help HOAs, condominiums, and also property management companies, as well as property managers, to make their job easier. How? We make sure to help you stay compliant to your state's regulations, especially here in Florida. We also help you send out communications to your residents in a way easier and more approachable way, such as emails, text blast, and smart call, especially for hurricane season. And we also help you maintain your documents organized and accessible for everyone within the community. On top of that, if you guys are in need or must have a website, a public facing website for people who are interested to join your community or just to see what the community is about, we will also build the whole website for you, as well as giving you the training to know how to use our tools, how to customize this website. And it doesn't end up there, actually. We will also provide you with the personalized and ongoing support afterwards. So if anything, you will always have someone supporting you, supporting your community, and making this process a lot easier. So if any of you guys has not have a portal yet for your residents or a website, please feel free to reach me. We will send the information through the chat. And yep, thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoyed this webinar today.
Great. Thank you, Laura. And thank you guys for all you do. I really appreciate you. Now, with that, I'm going to turn this over to today's presenter is Jim Maguire. He's been with the company for a long time and in the industry for many years. Jim, I'm going to let you take it away and do a better introduction of yourself and your company and what you're doing.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Peggy. You did a nice job. So my name, again, is Jim Maguire. I'm with Filterbuy AC Solutions. We are migrating out of that name and going to be called, from our AC focused, is Liberty Air and Electric, but we are still selling filters also. What I found is, especially out in the field, I tell people I work for Filterbuy. Even Peggy's a good example. I've known Peggy for 5 years, I think. And she thought I only sold filters, and I've been selling air conditioning solutions for 5 years. It was amazing. So we are migrating to Liberty Air and Electric. I am in charge. I head up the sales and customer experience team. I've been in this business now for about 5 years. I've got an interesting story. Now I'm selling air. Before this, I worked for Nestle Waters, and I was selling water for 15 years. So I've gone from selling water to selling air. Who would have ever thought, huh? I am going to talk a little bit about, this is what I'm going to talk a little bit about what Liberty Air is, what we do, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the presentation and then get right into the details. So we're a full service residential HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning company. We service from Miami to Orlando right now, the east coast of Florida. We do new installations, we do repairs. The biggest thing I think I focus on is maintenance, preventive maintenance. It certainly would add life to your air conditioner if you do it and do it right. And I'll spend a lot of time talking about that today. We do duct cleaning and also dryer vent cleanings, and I'll spend a little time on both of those today. I really focus on the condo HOA side of the business and partner with roofing companies, partner with Diane with Best Roofing when they have a big roof job that they need done in their air conditioners. There's condensers on the roof. They're ultimately the roofing company. They need someone to help them with condensers, so I help them out, and a number of other companies. And then I provide solutions to condos and HOAs where I put a program together. My example would be, let's assume it's a condo community. It could be 150 size, doesn't matter to me. Let's just say it's 150 condos, and those condos are anywhere from 1,000 square feet, 1,200 square feet, or 1,500 square feet. I put programs together for new customer installations where I give them pricing up front. Customers don't have to worry, gee, if my air conditioner goes out, what's it going to cost? Because Jim priced it out. I know what those square footages, those are 2-ton units, 2.5-ton and 3-ton air conditioners. So I put a price in writing that we can promote out to your community. We also do duct cleanings, dryer vent cleanings, and then a preventive maintenance program where we come out twice a year. We give customers 2 or 4 filters for $199. We come out, flush the drain line. It's the number one reason why air conditioners stop working. I'll talk about that a little bit today. And we do a tune-up to the air conditioner. So those are some of the programs that I run. I work with property managers and board members on that. Kind of win-win situation for everyone. Everyone looks good. They get a reliable air conditioning company at fair pricing that's in writing to them. Good quality work. The property manager or the board member looks good because they negotiate a good price. My prices are typically $500 to $1,000 below the market price. And then I might make a little money along the way, so everyone wins on all those scenarios. The other thing, we're the number one provider of online air conditioning filters. Filterbuy will make 40 million filters this year. We have 3 manufacturing sites in Talladega, Alabama, right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Salt Lake City. And then we have 18 distribution sites around the U.S. You can imagine in the big cities, Dallas, Phoenix. We have one in South Florida, in Orlando. So not South Florida, Central Florida, that services the Southeast. So that's kind of what we do. We have over 1,000 employees. Everything is done, made in the USA. A little bit about what we're going to do in the course. I'm going to give you basics on really thermodynamics, on how an air conditioner works, the really high-level version. I'll talk a lot about basic maintenance, filters, condensers, management. How do you extend the life of your air conditioner? I'll give you some advanced tools for the folks who either are very handy or have good maintenance people in their facilities. I'll go through a couple things to do before you call an AC company. We spend a fair amount of time doing things changing a battery because the person didn't know they needed batteries, lots of little things like that. I'll spend some time talking about how to hire the right contractors if it's not me, and how to make sure you stay away from the wrong contractors. And then I'll go through some common and uncommon problems. I'll talk a little bit about condensing and sweating of air conditioner lines. I'll laugh when I look at this slide, but the person who made this presentation before me was a Harvard grad. He really went into this whole dynamics about sweating. I'm not going to spend that much time on it. I'll talk a little bit about dryer vent cleaning because it's important from a preventive maintenance and from not having your home go on fire. I'll talk roofing support. I'll spend a fair amount of time on hurricane preparation, just to make sure you're prepped for these hurricanes, because air conditioners make a great 250-pound flying object if they're not secured properly in a hurricane. And then we'll go through some questions and answers. Should take me about 45 minutes if everything goes well. We good to go? Okay, a little bit about the basics of air conditioning. Air conditioners really do 2 things. And not make cold air. I mean, they make cold air, but they really remove warm air and deliver cold air. So that's one thing they do. They take warm air out of your home, condo, and then they deliver cold air. And the other thing it does, if it's running the proper amount of time, it removes condensation. As we take that warm air out, put it against cold air, it condensates, and it helps reduce the humidity in your home if it's running properly. So this is going to be a little example, and it's really as simple as this. This is a condenser. It's usually sitting outside of your home. It's got to be out in fresh air because it's taking fresh air in and moving hot air out of it as it works. So this is typically sitting on the side of someone's house, or if you're in a condo, it's sitting on top of the roof. And then this is an air handler. This is usually in a closet. It's in your garage. For some small condos, it's in the ceiling. They call it a pancake unit. So the simple version of this is this unit here, this condenser, takes Freon and takes it from a liquid and condenses it into a gas. When we create that gas, it comes into this air handler. This is a coil. This is one of the most important things in your air handler you can have, because this is what makes the air cold. So this is where we deliver cold air, and I'll show you how it goes through that. So this is a coil, and it can get very dirty. Okay, this is a blower motor. So what your air does is it simply takes it from the return. There's returns in your condo, your home, that the air gets sucked out of this warm air. So it takes the warm air here out of usually it's in the ceiling because warm air rises. It brings it down. It takes it back to this air handler. This is a blower motor. This all just blows air in and blows air out. It blows the air up here, the warm air, over that coil. So typically,
yes, thank you.
Excuse me? Typically that coil is about 40 degrees, and it will blow it over there. So it comes out at about 50 degrees, goes through your duct system, and then out into your home. And there should be about a 10 to 15 degree difference from what you have your air conditioner temperature set at, your thermostat set at, and what gets delivered through the duct system. Make sense? Here's another example I'll give you. Is I was doing this presentation, and a woman there said, well, when I go to work, I turn my air conditioner down to 81 degrees because I want to save money. When I come home, I want my air conditioner at 69 degrees. But Jim, it takes a long time to get to 69 degrees. And I said, well, first of all, you live in a condo, so you have one air return. So the air only gets sucked out of that condo, but in one room in the home. And then it's going to come through here when it gets into this, when it comes down this return into this blower mode, it's going to be 81 degrees. It's going to go up through that 45-degree coil. It's going to come out here at 50 degrees. It's going to get delivered about, well, if your air was 81 degrees, somewhere about 70, 75 degrees. And then it's a cycle. We just keep on doing it. Then the return sucks that air back in. Now it's at 78 degrees, let's say, and it goes through there, comes through at 78, makes it 74, 73, and so on until it gets to that 69-degree area. Does that make sense from a simple version of how an air conditioner works? Okay, basic maintenance. The biggest thing you can protect is that evaporator coil. I am amazed at when I go out to people's homes or people's businesses, how many people do not maintain their air conditioner. And the best way you can maintain it is a proper filter. If I go back to this slide here, you usually have a filter down here or on the side of this return area. So before it starts blowing air up into this coil, it goes through the filter, and the filter will take in all the dust, dirt, insects, air, all those things will get caught in this before it goes in this filter and into this coil. I had a friend of mine, a girl who's a friend, call me about 4 months ago in a panic saying, Jim, how often should I be changing my filter in my AC unit? So I could tell she was in a panic. I said, how often do you change it? She says, I've been living in this apartment for 3 years and I've never changed it. So I said, so your air conditioner stopped working, right? She says, yes. And now my landlord is mad at me because she's saying, since I haven't maintained it, I'm going to have to buy a new air conditioner. I went over to her home. She has 3 dogs. It wasn't the cleanest condo I've ever seen. The evaporator coil was black with soot and probably had a 1/4 inch of black soot in it. I said, this is the dirtiest coil I've ever seen. And if you have a dirty coil, there are 3 things that happen. First, running with a dirty coil is like operating your car and not changing the oil every 50,000 miles. Most of us if we care about our car, we change it every 7 to 10,000 miles, right? And as I tell people, your air conditioner is probably your 3rd biggest expense. Your home's your 1st, your car's the 2nd, and your air conditioner is your 3rd, most cases. But people don't spend the time to maintain them. Okay, so you should maintain it by creating and having the right filter. And that filter goes in this air handler unit here. If you have a clean coil, it's going to save you money because it's going to run easier, more efficiently. Because if it's full of dirt, dust, and mold and mildew, the air doesn't go through there as easy. The air conditioner has to work harder. So it's going to cost you more money from an energy bill. It's going to build more wear and tear on the air conditioner because it's running harder. And you're not going to have as good of quality air and health from a standpoint also. We suggest there's many different filters you can use. Lots of people tell me, oh, I just go to Home Depot and I buy the $8 filter. That's called a MERV 5 filter. It's pretty flimsy. The filter is designed, as I say, keep that dirt, dust out of your air conditioner. A filter is really set up like a screen. If I put it back into kind of layman's terms, screens in your house, if they're in your door or in a window, and you open up your windows, the screens are made to keep the gnats, the mosquitoes, the flies, and some dirt and dust out, right? But if those screens are too big, they start to let the gnats in or the fly or the mosquitoes in. A filter is the same way. If you're using a MERV 5, some people make a MERV 3. They're just more porous and more dirt gets through the filter and gets into your air conditioner or into the coils. We at Filterbuy only make 3 filters type. It's a MERV 8, a MERV 11, and a MERV 13. I always suggest to people, if you've got immune health issues, breathing issues, you should use a 13, but it's fairly thick and it can cause issues with your air conditioner if you don't have big enough return space. I suggest that you use the MERV 11s or the 8s. The MERV 8 is designed to remove 95% of the dirt, dust, out of this air system. A MERV 11 is 97%, and the MERV 13 is 99%. It's going to improve the air quality better and improve the way your air conditioner works. The other thing that happens if you have a dirty coil, because we go back to condensing, that coil is where the the condensing comes because it's taking warm air and delivering it to cold air. So water starts to drip off, and it goes into a drip pan at the bottom of your air handler. There's usually a drip pan right here. And then it goes out into this. This is your condensate drain line. Okay, so if you have a dirty coil, that's going to start coming off with the water dripping over it, and then that's going to go into your drain pan and eventually down your drain line. But usually what happens is that's why we suggest people use drain tablets or use white vinegar in there to help clean those lines out, because that dirt and muck will end up clogging your drain line, and that will shut off your air conditioner. Or if it doesn't shut off your air conditioner, it will continue to run, and then your air conditioner will flood your house. So those are the reasons why it's extremely important to keep a clean air conditioner. Change your filters. I suggest you change your filters every 2 to 3 months, depending how clean your home is and depending how many dogs, cats you have. I personally I live with a girlfriend. I don't have any pets. Brand new renovated condo. I change mine every 4 months, but I use a MERV 11. I have a very big air handler because I have one of those very big filter because I have one of those air handlers that are sitting in my ceiling. And I change mine every 4 months. It's really based on how dirty they are. You know, some people say, oh, I change them once a month. That's a waste, especially if you got a clean place. It's really a waste. So a little bit, I went through these, but size is the king for a filter. You got to make sure you have the right size. I go to plenty of homes and businesses where they have a slot for a filter, and it's a 20 by 20 filter slot, and they have a 20 by 16. So they've got 4 inches of area that is not getting protected from the filter because it's going around the filter, and now it's going up into the air handler. So extremely important to make sure you have the right size and the right MERV rated filter for your particular needs. Here's some basic condensation management thoughts. I touched on this a little bit. Back to this is your drain line. Some people put bleach in their drain line. I would suggest not to. Bleach can deteriorate the PVC pipe, or really the glue that glues these pipes together. That's why we recommend you either using vinegar or you are using design drain tablets to put in there. But this should be flushed and cleaned out at least twice a year. You also can go outside and put a shop vac on this and suck it out also. So this is where the line, let's go with your air handlers in your garage. Usually the line, as you saw, it comes out here, goes down, then it goes into the wall, or it's in the slab of the garage or in the slab of the house, and then it comes out somewhere outside of your house, and you'll see a pipe coming out like this. So that's your drain line. It should always, especially this time of year, should always be dripping out water. I can't tell you how many times I've had a discussion, because if I'm going to have an argument with somebody, I like to find out what we agree on first, of how many times a person would say, it can't be clogged, Jim, because I clean it out regularly. And then I say, okay, so your air conditioner is running. How about you go outside and take a look at, is there water coming out of that drain line? No. Then it has to be clogged because the air conditioner is running, or it's leaking all over your house. Right? So you can put a shop vac here and suck the water out of here. You can also put a shop vac here and reverse it and blow it out of these lines also by turning it around and putting in the blow mode and blow it through that hole. And then the last piece is, this is called the condensate drain pump. They run between $500 and $900. This is for people who the line doesn't drain naturally, because the water will flow the easiest way it can. And if the person who installed your air conditioner did it properly, that line should be tilted a little, very slightly, so the water will flow eventually out of the drain line and out into your side yard or backyard. When that doesn't happen, this is what people put in place. And again, there's a cost to this. There's an electrical issue with, that you need electricity, but this pumps the water out of your home. Sometimes people use these if they've got a air handler in the attic and they don't want any risk of their unit leaking. So they put a secondary drain pan in. There's a first drain pan, then a secondary one to catch water, and then they put this in also to make sure they pump the water out of their home.
Jim, can I interrupt you before you go on?
Yes.
I want to remind everybody to please put the questions into the Q&A box, not into the chat, because we record the questions for Jim. And if you have a question for one of the sponsors, and we can get those out after the webinar. But I also have a couple of questions. I have a couple come in about how can you clean the evaporator coil?
My next slide.
Okay, perfect.
So here's a little bit about the more advanced. There's two ways to clean an evaporator coil. If I go back to my friend who it was extremely dirty, we have to cut that coil out. And again, here is your evaporator coil here. Here's a sample of an evaporator coil. Okay, this is a condensing coil. So this one here is the one that's in your garage, in your ceiling, in your closet in a home. So this is the evaporator coil. And the way you can clean this is using this evap foam as a no rinse. So I'm sorry, there's two ways to do it. If I go back to my friend with the dirty coil, we've got to cut it out, take it out, do an acid wash, very thorough, pressurized acid wash, and try to clean it. And then we've got to bring it back. We also had to remove the Freon. Then we bring it back in, we weld it back in, solder it back into place, have to pump it back up with Freon, and then let it run. That's very expensive. It's usually anywhere from $700 to $1,000 to do that. If you're smart, want to do it the right way, you go and buy this can of VAP foam, no rinse. Again, it doesn't have to be no rinse because your evaporator coil creates water. So you do this once a year maybe, and spray this foam on your evaporator coil. It will go in there. It will start to clean the coil on its own. And then the coil will rinse itself off as it's running, creating condensation, and will go down that condensate line, the drain line. That's for the evaporator coil. You can do the same thing for the condensate coil. You should probably remove this cover. Make sure the unit is off first, by the way, either way, you got to make sure the unit is off. This is a disconnect box here that you shut the unit off. So there's an on and off switch there. You turn that off, and now the unit will be off. And then you can spray that foam around these 4 areas. There's coils there also. Or what I do also when I owned a home before that is just spray it with water. Also, you should wash this down. I used to do it once a month. Just spray it down after I cut the lawn is spray it down. And you also need to make sure around your home that this is a very open area. This shouldn't be buried in trees and bushes, or there should be nothing growing inside here. This needs to breathe because this is sucking air in. The warm air from the outside is bringing this to help this unit work properly. And then you can see the foam that this starts to create after you put this foam on there. Fair explanation of that? You can get this at Home
Good.
Depot.
We have another question.
Okay.
Go ahead. Home Depot. Jim?
I can't hear.
I said you were going to get it. You were telling us to go to Home Depot?
Oh, you can buy this at Home Depot or an air conditioning supply store. But yeah, they sell this at Home Depot or some form of this at Home Depot. Or Ace, my favorite place to go.
Okay, we have another question. Okay, mine too. It's funny you say that. I have another question that is asking, is 30% vinegar too much to clean?
No,
to use to
I would
clean
suggest
30%.
you do a cup, and it should be 50% vinegar, 50% warm water. So it's a cup
Okay,
it's a
all
cup,
right.
and you half filled with warm water and half filled with
Now, this might be a question for a appointment, but I've got one coming in, or it's a challenge for your webinar. It says, what is the recommendation for severe condensation issues in a 16th floor condo?
So I'm going to get to condensation in a minute, but condensation can be very challenging. Okay, so can I hold that question until I get to the condensation slide?
Sure, absolutely.
But it's not easy to figure
out. The only
out.
other question I had is, are you going to?
The simple version is condensation happens when warm air attaches, it hits cold air. Now, hopefully that's designed to only happen in the evaporator coil, in the air handler, and there's a controlled place for that to condensate and drip. And then I'll get into it, and I'll give you an example that I'm running into now with a poor woman that, it's a little hard to help her, but I'll tell you why. All right, so I'll get to that in 2 slides, I think it is.
Okay, can I ask you also, are you going to share your slides with everyone? Will I be able to send these slides out to everyone?
Possibly. I'll talk to you about that after. Yeah. So here's a couple other maintenance tips for yourself. The number one reason why the air conditioner stops working is usually the drain line, as I said. The second one is this little device. It's called the capacitor. Excuse me. This is basically a little battery that jump starts when you turn your air conditioner on. This gives your condenser outside a boost and says, hey, it's time to turn on, and kicks it on. These usually go every 2 to 3 years. When I do a maintenance agreement with somebody, a commercial account, it costs more money, but we do 2 things for a commercial business. When I'm helping a property manager manage their common areas, their clubhouses, all those type of things, I have a maintenance program, and I change this once a year. I also do a coil cleaning with them. But because if you call me and your air conditioner is down, I'm going to probably charge you $350 for this unit when it's not working. If you have someone coming out doing preventive maintenance, you should ask them, could I be proactive, and could you put a capacitor in for me? I would suggest every 2 to 3 years, 3 for sure, it will go. And they're probably $20 to buy. But again, if I've got to come out, I've got to pay my guy, I've got to pay my insurance, I've got to blah, 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 all sorts of overhead. On an average cost, they're about $300 to $350 for any air conditioning company. But fairly easy to do on your own, or especially if you're doing preventive maintenance, to have it done. If you wanted to look at your condenser and see, is mine bad? You can tell they usually get a little blown up if they're not working properly. So this is what they look like normally. And this is not a really good picture of it, but you could observe this in your condenser by it's blowing up a little bit. So it's getting old because it's not slim and symmetrical like it is now. It's swole. It's starting to swell. Couple things to do before you call me or any air conditioning company. One is make sure you check the batteries in your thermostat. If you haven't changed them in a year and all of a sudden your thermostat's giving you an error message or it won't go on, I'd spend $3 and change the batteries first. Because I can tell you, if I'm coming out, and we happen to have this happen a lot also, someone calls me, I have a charge $149 service fee. If I drive all the way out and test their thermostat and find that it needs batteries, I have the batteries, but I'm charging $149. And I'd rather not, because I've got a whole bunch of air conditioners that need fixing, much more value, much more needed for a resident standpoint, that something's actually broken versus it's a thermostat. The other thing you can do, this is called a float switch. This is attached to your drain line, which is in your air handle, which is attached to your air handle. This is designed if your drain pan or your drain line is backed up, that this unit it's going to overflow to this unit. This pops off. But there's a float. It's called a float switch because there's a little switch inside. As water comes in, it goes up, 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 and then it shuts off the unit. If you don't have one of these, I didn't have one in my house 10 years ago. My house flooded one time on it because it keeps on going. So what I would suggest you do is to check why my air conditioner is not working. You can take the top off of this. And if you see there's water in there, you know your drain line is clogged. Now, if you leave that top off, you'll find as soon as you take it off, the air conditioner will start running. If you say, oh, I need air conditioning, what's going to happen? It's going to keep on running, but now the water's going to overflow out of this. Okay? And the next piece is the third simple check is you should see if your breaker flipped on your electrical panel. Now, I'll give you permission. If your breaker has flipped on your air conditioner, you should flip it once. If it doesn't flip off again, everything should be fine. There's some reason it flipped. But if it flips off again, there's something wrong, and then you should call me or an air conditioning company. Don't keep on flipping this on and off. This breaker is set. When they flip, it's saying there's an electrical issue happening here. I shut off so your house doesn't burn down, or you don't short circuit your air conditioner. So flip it once, but that's all. You should be able to flip it. Okay, I spent a fair amount of time talking about dirty coils. Here's some examples. This is a real picture, okay? I can tell you, I could go out to 20 air conditioners a year that the filter is like this. Or this filthy coil looks like this all the time. It's amazing. I have I actually got rid of them as a customer, but a storage company, Prime Storage, we would go out. They never took care of any of their stuff. We would go out to air conditioners. One time I was up in Port St. Lucie. We went out. He had 30 air conditioners. We went up, we pulled out some filters that were this, and they would date it. The filters would date it for 2020. The filters hadn't been changed in 5 years. This was 2 years ago. They hadn't been changed in 5 years, and they look like this. Then the coil looks like this. He says, Jim, I'd like you to clean it for me. Okay, I'm going to charge you $800. I'll clean it. But now I can't guarantee it's going to work after this, because what happened here, your air conditioner ran so hard with the coils looking like that. Okay, I don't know what else happened. It stopped. It ran really hard on the motor, so the motor might be dead. I don't know. Here's what I know is everything shut down because of the way that filter works. No, I mean the way this coil is. I can clean this coil, but I don't know if the components after that, the blower motor, the blower wheel, those type of things, are damaged also. So that is an extremely dirty coil. If your air conditioner stops working, you take off that front plate and you see that this is the coil again. This is this part of the coil. This coil is frozen. Okay, there are a number of reasons why this coil can freeze. Could be because the coils are very dirty. Could be because of this. This is called a metering device here. This metering device is broken. Is something's happened to it. There's a bunch of different reasons. But one thing I cannot do is I cannot diagnose it if it's frozen like this. So what you need to do is turn your air conditioner just on fan mode. So now it's not running the air. It's just running fan, and let this thaw out. And this is going to take a day to thaw out. So unfortunately, there's nothing we could do. But if you're running on fan mode, it's going to blow air over this still, and it will at least get the cold air off the ice that you'll put in your home, and this will eventually thaw out. And then I can come out and diagnose it. But you're wasting your time and my time if we come out here and it's frozen like this. And this happens a lot. Peggy, there are other questions I need to answer?
Yes, there are. Let's see.
I still haven't forgot about the
Do you have a
condensation.
suggestion for negative?
Go ahead.
Do you have a suggestion for negative pressure condensation at exhausts in baths or kitchens?
That one's a very complicated one. So that one would take a technician. I couldn't do that over the phone without knowing the scenarios.
Okay.
And that would take an advanced tech to come out there and measure and do some measuring of those things also. Then they could provide you answers.
Okay. Well, that sounds like an appointment for you. So touche.
Yep.
He also has another question that I think is going to be pretty complicated. He's going to need to come out, but he's already asking for a proposal. But he's wanting to know, what is the distance between the AC unit outside on the ground on the cement blocks in the building?
It should be at least 18 inches away from the building so it can breathe.
Okay.
By code, it's got to be 18 inches away.
Okay. All righty. And what about using HEPA filters? Any comment on that?
They're good. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the HEPA filter.
Good.
Yeah, no, they're
Okay.
good.
All righty.
I would suggest you're either using those or these my filters, or I wouldn't suggest the Home Depot ones, but they will do the trick also. You know, I don't like the washable filters. I just was in a home yesterday, and we had. I told you, really, you're not cleaning this properly, and it's now this is because what it can do when you've got a filter like this, it is actually hindering the airflow of the air conditioner also. So it's restricting the airflow. And you know, this filter, it happened to be a washable one. It wasn't the right size either, but it was filthy dirty and it was hindering the airflow, it was restricting the airflow. When we took the filter out, the air conditioner stopped working again. But it wasn't the right size and it was dirty. You know, a filter, this size filter is a little bit bigger.
So Huff,
Go ahead.
I was just going to answer Huff, who's asked this question. To get your name and contact information off the sponsor sheet to get a proposal, he's looking for 309 units proposal.
300 what?
But that would be directly to you.
Yeah, how many?
300 and hold on, 309 units. They want a bulk contract for good AC company twice a year to maintain it, and
just what I do.
You know, the annual.
Yep. So you'll supply my contact information?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I do. You know, and I do it for either the residents. You know, I have a couple buildings that they have built their HOA into their maintenance fee for their residents into their HOA fee. You know, that I come out once a quarter, change filters and do drain line flushes, and you know, it's I don't know, $12 a month or something for the residents, especially in some of these nice condos. That's not really a ton of money for them, and they get that all done, and it's $150 a year, $130, depending what type of bulk agreement I can put together for you. That's when size does matter. Usually, it doesn't matter to me, but those bulk agreements, where you know, the more the better pricing I give. Any other ones?
That's it for now.
Okay. Here's a little helpful hint for you in this time of year with your technicians. A happy technician is a better technician. It's hot out there. These guys have, you know, anywhere from an installation to do or 5 or 6 stops to do. I happened to be in an attic this morning pricing out a new air conditioner, but the air handler was up in the attic. This one is 127 degrees today. You know, luckily it was early this morning, but it was still probably 120 degrees there. You know, they can go in an attic and it's going to be 130, 40 degrees up there, and that's where they're working. So techs are people too. Their tools are heavy. The small things really matter for your techs. If you can make their lives a little easy, make sure they have a parking spot, especially in some of these high-rise areas. The little things can help you help a tech, and then that tech will be much better. When he knows you care, he cares more also. Where's my thing on sweating? Oh, yeah. Okay. 2 more slides for my sweating. Here's a little example on finding the right contractor. So if you choose not to use me, and again, I'm from Miami up to Orlando, so and we're really good at what we do and we care. Here's a couple of things if you're searching for a new AC company. These Google guaranteed are not the place to look. All these people here paid for their advertising. Right? So they paid to be here. Mr. Cassidy, who sold his company, he's not, you know, it's still called Cassidy, but he's not the owner anymore. A private equity company bought this. They are paying for this ad here on this side. Okay? You should avoid these. On this side, the business side here, these are generated by positive reviews. And this is where you should be looking if you're looking to find a contractor on this side and look at their reviews, because these are generically happening. They're not sponsored ads. Like we have a 4.8 rating. You know, we're going to be up here in here. Here's some kind of uncommon things to look at. I was having this conversation with one of my good property manager friends yesterday. This happens not be the unit, but it was almost as bad. This is a unit sitting on the beach. I happened to look at one yesterday that was 7 years old also and was 30% worse than this one for a 7-year-old unit. When you're on the beach, I suggest you coat the actual unit. You put a marine coat on it. This unit here is one we did. It was up in Palm Beach. Here's an example. This is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like after. We put 2 coats of a marine coating on it. This will coat everything except the components of the motor. So we'll do the casing of the motor, we'll do the coils, we'll do all the piping inside, the fan inside, and it gets 2 coats on it. It takes 4 days. One of the things yesterday happened, she said, Jim, I want to get these installed really quick. I said, it's okay. I can't coat it if you want it installed quick. It's going to take an extra 4 days because they wash the unit down, then they coat it, then they let it dry, and then day 3.5, they coat it again and let it dry, and then day 4 you could pick it up. I tell.
What does that run, Jim?
Well, I almost charge cost for it. So to do this unit here was $850. To do this one is about $1,200. This is a package unit. It's about $1,200. This I can't guarantee anything, but this will add 2 to 3 years to the life. This will extend the life 2 to 3 years. And they really deteriorate quickly. I have a great example. 6 months ago, I was up at on the beach at a place we were doing a roof job that we were doing 250 air conditioners, condensers. And I happened to do a preventive maintenance for this woman. And then 6 months later, now we're doing the change out on the condensers on the roof. And I told her, your unit is basically looking like this. She says, Jim, it can't. Here's the picture you showed me. You gave me this picture 6 months ago when you did the preventive maintenance. Luckily, the guy who took that picture and the picture I took was in the exact same location. You could see the condo complex behind it. It was in the exact same place. I said, Elisa, it is actually, because here's that picture. Thanks, and you have it. And here's the new picture, and this was done yesterday. And it was dramatic. In 6 months, that thing deteriorated so quickly. So if the salt air gets in these units, it makes them go very quickly. So your normal air conditioner should last somewhere between 10 and 12 years, depending on how you took care of it. If you're one of these folks, I love this when I'm at Century Village or Winmore or some of the old places, I'll see air condenser units on the roof that are train units or old ream units that are 20 years old. They don't make them like that anymore. They just don't. But so an air conditioner that you buy in today's world is made to last 10 to 12 years. If you're on the beach, it's going to be 7 to 9 years. So it'll take 3 years off the life of it. No matter how you maintain it, because this is sitting out in the weather. And I tell people for, let's call it $1,000. It's well worth it from us saving your extending the life of your air conditioner a couple more years, my opinion.
I have a question about how often should you clean the duct systems?
So I would suggest you clean the duct systems. Well, so there's a couple trains of thought. Depends how clean or dirty your home is. You keep it. Depends how many pets you have. All those things come into play. I suggest it's every 3 years, let's say. But I also base it on how dirty the filters are. I'm going to give you an example of myself. So I bought this condo a couple years ago. I renovated the whole thing. I didn't do my air conditioner at the time. I didn't do a great job blocking off my ducts either. So then I started changing I look at my filters all the time, and I'm changing them every 2 months. And every 2 months, they're filthy freaking dirty. I'm like, wow, how can they be this dirty? I don't have any pets. My place is clean. But my duct system wasn't clean. So I cleaned the duct system. Now I change my filters every 4 months. I happen to encapsulate them. You can also do that, especially small. An encapsulation is we spray in, for lack of a better word, a paint after we clean the, I'm sorry, let me back up. After we clean the duct system, where we vacuum out we go vent to vent. We have a vacuum cleaner, for lack of a better word. It's about 6 times more powerful than a regular vacuum cleaner. It's got a 20-foot hose on it. At the end of the hose, it's got 8-inch plastic bristles. They don't damage the ducts, even if they're soft, a soft duct system, they don't damage it. And then at the very end of the hose is the vacuum. So we go into each duct all the way as far as we can go. Start spin those plastic fingers there that drain up all the dirt, dust, mold, mildew, and then the vacuum sucks that out. After we do that, then we spray in a sanitation, an antimicrobial sanitation that helps kill mold, mildew, bacteria. I can't tell you it did kill it because only a licensed restoration person could do that. But I can tell you when a licensed restoration person calls me and says, "Hey, can you come do this? This is what I do," and then they come back and say, "We got it." Make sense? So I'll say every 2 to 3 years you do it, or depending if your filters are dirty, then you probably need to clean it more often than that. Answer that question for you?
Okay, how about this question? Yes. Next question is, if you change your filters every month in your home, this is a residence, and your ducts have not been cleaned for 30 years, will the house catch on fire?
The house won't catch on fire. I'll do that when you do with dryer vents. It would probably catch on fire, but no. What you'll be doing is breathing in all that stuff that's in the duct system. So it wouldn't be good for your respiratory system also, okay? If you've got a 30-year-old duct system, it's probably fiberglass. I can show you what a fiberglass duct system does when I go to homes, and I know that. I bring it with me. And the fiberglass typically breaks off. It's a half-inch piece of fiberglass duct board, and that fiberglass breaks off. I'll share with some people because they see it all over their house, because as that's breaking off, then it blows in, right? Because that air is blowing out into your condo, your home. So I would strongly suggest you have it done every 5 years, especially if someone hasn't had done in 30, you ought to have that done.
Okay.
It'll improve the air quality in your home. You probably don't even know it if you've never cleaned your duct system, how bad the air quality is. Okay, here's my Harvard grad example of sweating. I'm not going to talk to this one, but really sweating is really two things. It's where warm air meets cold air. That makes it sweat. Now, it could do it certainly does that in the evaporator coil. That's where it's designed to do it. But sweating also can happen around the air handler. It can happen around your ductwork if they're not sealed properly. If they're sealed properly, that is designed to keep the cold air in the duct system and not let the warm air come into the duct system. Or it should be sealed at your vents. The vents aren't properly sealed properly. So I have this poor woman, and she's stuck really here, that we put an air conditioner in a couple months ago. It's crazy. She hadn't had air conditioning in 3 years, but she hadn't. So, I care. When she called, "Jim, my air conditioner is leaking all over the place." I come out to her. I take a look because I'm thinking maybe it's just the drain pan. It's not the drain pan. It's sweating everywhere. But I look in her bedroom. She took out the patio windows. She doesn't have insulated windows. Her bedroom, which is 8 feet from the air handler, I have a temperature gun. I try to prove if I'm right or wrong. I tell her the air conditioner is working fine. Donna, let's go with. I put it up to the vent. The air coming out is coming out at 58 degrees. So I said the air conditioner is working perfectly fine. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Takes warm air out, delivers cold air, and takes out moisture. Your place isn't humid, but in her bedroom. So I do it at 58 degrees. I move the gun down 2 feet. It's 76 degrees. I move it where her bed is. It's 85 degrees. I move it to where the patio is. It's 95 degrees. Okay, so she has got a condensating issue because the air handler happens to be in the ceiling in this particular place, is getting hit with the warm air coming out of her bedroom. If we went into her dining room, it's 75 degrees where she has the temperature set. So sweating and condensation can be very complicated, but the simple version is it's where warm air is meeting cold air, and they're not designed to meet that way. Okay, so that's why they sweat. That's why if you look, you'll see some vents like this. This vent isn't sealed properly. You can see all the condensation. That's what this person's running into. She's got sweating go all over the place. This means the duct system this vent is not sealed properly. Here is the copper piping where the Freon, the refrigerant, is coming through. These are supposed to be insulated. They're not insulated, so they're sweating because it's in the attic. This is very cold with air coming from the condenser over to the air handler, and it's in the attic where it's 120 degrees, it's gonna condensate. Unfortunately, this one is another one that this is the air handler. It's not attached properly to the plenum. It's creating mold and mildew. This is another duct system that's not sealed properly either, or it doesn't have insulation inside of it because it is sweating all over the attic. So that's a high-level version of condensing. This is what's going to happen down the road if you don't take care of it, but you really need to have a professional technician come out and take a look at it because there's lots of different reasons why it can't. I just gave you some of them, but it's one of those, it's like I told this person, the air conditioner is not designed to do sweating like it is. There's something happened in your home. Now, when I looked at her duct system, she had some holes in it because she literally had water coming out the ceiling where her smoke alarm was. I went up there because I really did try to help because I care. Went into her duct system, put my hand in there, and it was cut. So someone, when they put that fire alarm in there, must have done it through the smoke detector, done it through the duct system because she had a hole in her duct system. So we taped up all the holes she had in it. That didn't necessarily fix it. There's a whole bunch of different reasons. But what you'll get is the ceiling will start to collapse. The paint will come off. This will get very soft and it will collapse on you, or you're going to get mold and mildew like this if it's not properly taken care of. Or you're going to have water dripping on the floor like this woman has and slipping all over the place. So I hope that answers your question at a high level. You'd have to call me, have someone come out and take a look at it to really get the right answer because someone's got to test it out. They've got to test out pressures. They've got to test out a bunch of different things to come up with where that air is coming out of, where it's leaking from. Okay. Any other questions about air conditioning? I'm going to do a quick little thing on duct cleaning because we do.
Yes, here's one about, Go
ahead.
I have a question on, do you handle cooling tower maintenance?
I do not. It's the only thing we handle everything below the cooling tower, but I don't do the cooling tower. I was partnered with a company that did that, but they were sold and I'm not necessarily getting along with the new company. So no, I do everything below the cooling tower. If you want to program for your residents,
I don't understand this question completely, but it's a
heat pumps so that I can service all those. I just don't do the water cool. And typically, the people who manage the water tower don't necessarily like to do the residential piece because they're the big guys and they're using this 50-ton water tower, and they don't want to deal with the 2.5-ton
sure.
water source heat pump in the residence. Okay. Anything else?
Okay. Is it okay to pour hot water? Is it okay to pour hot water on your unit?
On it or where? I mean, where are we putting it?
Well, that's only a partial question. So Andy, you're going to have to ask a little bit more question.
Yeah. So I'm going to say if you're pouring water in your drain line.
But it just says, can you pour hot water?
Yeah, it should be warm. Hot water is not going to kill it, but it should be a combination of warm water or hot and vinegar to pour down your drain line. That's the only place you should be putting water. You shouldn't put water on your coils. That's not going to do the trick. You should buy that foam that will clean the coils. Okay, so I've talked about air conditioning, I've talked about duct vents. Now I'm going to talk about dryer vents, the importance of keeping and cleaning your dryer vents. There's really 5 big reasons for that. It reduces the risk of fire. Fire happens, especially when you leave your duct system, your dryer vent system like this here. This is the outside vent that has obviously never been cleaned. So this is coming from this piece, your dryer, or this piece here, and that is duct out into your out to this. So this will eventually cause the unit to probably catch fire because it can't breathe. Okay. So it's going to improve your dryer performance. It's similar to cleaning your coils. Cleaning your dryer vent is going to help your dryer work better because it's not fighting for air to get out here, or like this is all clogged up. My guy is going to come in and clean it out with a vacuum and with some other tool like this to clean that out. And you should be cleaning your filters. Okay, it's going to help improve it's going to lower your dryer bill, your electrical bill, because it's running easier. It'll extend the life of your dryer. It prevents moisture problems also, because if you can't get out of here, that moisture is going to end up being on your clothes, and it will keep your clothes in better condition. Because, you know, I don't know, I've had the issue before where my dryer is running for 2 hours and it's not getting, you know, my clothes are still damp. It's because I didn't know what I know now, is you should be cleaning that dryer vent probably once a year. So those are kind of the 5 reasons. It'll improve your performance. It'll reduce the risk of fire. It'll your electricity bill will be lower, and your clothes will be better also because they're getting dried quicker. Some common problems about racks. So if you're a condo thing, I'll go quick here, and then I'm going to get into hurricanes. One of the things I do, I'm partnered with roofers when they need to remove these condensers. If you happen to be a condo property manager or on a board, and if you're doing a roof, you should look at extending those racks. If I go back to those condensers in Century Village that are 20 years old, are really like 18 inches by 18 inches around. New air conditioners, if you buy a brand new air conditioner from me, it's 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet. Every year they get more efficient, they get bigger. So if you're in the business of doing a roof and you have racks, you should look at extending those racks. Those racks come anywhere from 6 feet to 18 feet. And you should try to, if you have the room, is make them as big as possible. Because these air conditioners, these condensers need to breathe. That'll avoid you putting extensions on the racks. They've got to sit on a rack anyway. If you're doing the roof, that's a better way to look at it and negotiate a deal with your roofer or the AC partner to extend those to get bigger racks. And you should also make sure that the AC company is labeling all the condensers. I can't tell you how many times I go up on a roof. Let's go back to Century Village, 78 units on the roof, and the person always says, oh yeah, they're all labeled. They have freaking never labeled, by the way. Never. I say 95% of the time they're not labeled. So I got to go figure out, and I'm pretty good at figuring it out. You know, this is rack A, this is rack B, but you got to figure it out, and then which way they put the 4 different units and blah blah blah. It's simple enough to either use a paint pen and write it down, or use some type of labeling system. Okay, when you're choosing a roofing partner, this is my roofing because I'm partnered with these guys. There's a couple things. I'm going to give you another example. 6 months ago, I was doing a roof job with a roofing guy. I had to do 85 condensers. This was their 3rd roof they've done in 30 years. You know, roofs should last you 25 to 30 years. This was their 3rd one. These people weren't full of money. They had just got assessed $18,000 a piece for putting a roof on because the person who did it before didn't attach the stands properly. When the city found out about it, they provided them with a citation, said you got to do it all over again. Besides, you got to do your roof over again because they didn't do that right, and you need to do all your racks over again. So even though the racks were high enough, they needed to have someone come in and put them in. So make sure you got, first of all, you find a licensed contractor like Best Roofing. They're insured and bonded. They're certified by all the manufacturers to put that product on your roof. They've got some recent pictures and recommendations from recent people who the job was done by, and they have some online leadership. So again, I'm partnered with people like PSI and Best Roofing, and I've got 6 or 7. I don't do them all because frankly, they've got to have like-minded and they've got to be good service people. But I am a mechanical and licensed mechanical and licensed electrical company to do these and work with HOAs. Okay, my little prep on, because I'm extending my time here, I got 2 more minutes. Hurricane preparation. I said this earlier, these units make great flying objects if they're not done and secured properly. So a couple things, you should make sure they're secured to this stand. This unit here is one I sold 4 months ago. I went and talked to the woman. She said, I have a maintenance contract with X. I'll skip who they are. The guy was here the other day. He said, I need a new air conditioner. He said, by the way, your air conditioner doesn't have any straps on it. So here is the unit. It has no straps. Okay, they're supposed to, these are hurricane straps here. They're supposed to be one on every corner. You can see this is tilted. Okay, if we had a hurricane, that unit would come flying off and be on someone's car. This little unit here is one of those ones I talked about. This unit here is probably a 2003 Ream. Amazing. They're little tiny units, little skinny ones. Look at the size difference. Okay, so make sure they're secured. Make sure they have hurricane straps. You should make your filters have been changed and your coil is clean, because when you ultimately, when you get through this hurricane, and hopefully you have had minimum amount of damage, you'd like that air conditioner to be working also. You should check your electrical lines and the disconnect boxes. Make sure they're secured to the to something. So if it's your home, they're going to be the electrical box and the disconnect box are going to be attached to your house. If you're on a condo, they're going to be attached to these stands. Okay, so they should be secured. They should also be watertight. Also, if they're rusted away, water's going to get in there. We got a hurricane. We're going to get 10 inches of rain. It's another reason why your air conditioner could short circuit, because water got in there. And the last piece, your refrigeration lines are supposed to have this insulation on them. Oops. They're supposed to have this insulation on them. This is the same system I was at here. These are all supply lines with refrigerant going through them. None of them have any insulation on them. So it's going to make your air conditioner work harder. It's going to take longer to cool, blah, blah, blah. It's very cheap to do. It should be UV protected also. And again, make sure you have hurricane straps. Going to be the most important thing you check. So if you hire a company like Diane to come out and do a check of your roof, you should probably hire your air conditioning company to come with them and say, let me go out and look at all your air conditioners also to make sure they're all secured properly. 1 minute over. Peggy, took my hour.
We have another question. Want to know, do you service the laundry ducts in cleaning the condo? You know how they have the laundries on every floor?
Yes.
Okay.
I just did one in Cocoa Beach. It was 12 stacks, and the stacks were 9 stories tall. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I work with a company.
Again, Jim.
I do some dryer vents when it's, smaller ones. And then if it's a big job, I work with the dryer vent wizard, who he's a professional dryer vent company. And then I hire him to go do the bigger jobs. So I've got all the solutions for people. I know what I can do and do well, and I know what I can't do. And then I found someone who does it better. So yes, and that should be done every couple of years also.
Okay.
And we do it from the top to the bottom.
Okay. Also, we also have a question that says, for the most efficient AC performance, should the fan be kept on constantly?
No. So your air conditioner should run typically 8 to 12 hours a day. Okay. So, because it's going to dehumidify your home also. So I'm going to share another example. I got a zillion stories, but quick. I'm at a show. It's a property manager. He says, Jim, my house smells moldy and mildewy. He says, I just replaced my air conditioner like 3 years ago. He says, but I put a bigger air conditioner in because I want my house to be cold. I said, well, so how big is your house? He says, 1,600 square feet. I says, how big of an air conditioner you put? He said, I put a 5-ton in. I says, well, the easier answer is you overtonned your home. He goes, no, I didn't, Jim. No. I says, okay, so here's what's happened now. Your air conditioner runs for about 3 hours a day. Your house is freezing and it shuts off. Yep, exactly happens, Jim. It's supposed to run 8 to 12 hours a day because it's got to dehumidify. So that fan shouldn't be running all the time. It should be running part of the time, unless you have a higher end air conditioning unit. If it's a 2-stage or a multi-stage air conditioner, then those are designed to run longer. And I don't know, you want me to explain a two-stage unit very quickly? A single-stage unit, which most of these are.
Sure.
So a single-stage unit is designed, you put your thermostat on 75 degrees. When it hits 76 degrees, it turns on. It goes from 0 to 100 miles an hour until it gets back to the design temperature, right? That's how a single-stage unit works. A dual stage or multi-stage, let me do a dual stage, 2-stage unit works. It does that and it gets the unit to that temperature, but then it doesn't shut totally off. It goes down to about 50% and it continues to run. So it's running, and so it does a couple different things. So it's running longer. It dehumidifies more. It's not using as much energy because it's not going 100 miles an hour. It's going 50 miles an hour. And it's less wear and tear since it's not going start, stop, start, stop. You know, if I look at my air conditioner in my condo, this thing flips on 30 times a day. 0, 100, 0, 100. Where the 2-stage goes 0, 50, and it runs longer. It's much more efficient. So you're going to get a better SEER rating. You're going to lower your energy bill. You'll extend the life of your air conditioner. So that's one reason why it could run longer. But if it's a single stage, it should not be running all the time.
Okay. I think that's it on the questions. I did have somebody ask me about listing the sponsors on there. But again, you're going to get a sponsor sheet. It'll have everybody's name and number starting at the top with Jim.
954
Did you have any
552
closing comments, Jim?
4430 is my number, so if you need it, just in case Peggy didn't spell my name right or put my right phone
There
number
you
in.
go.
954 552 4430.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you all. I hope
Thanks
you
so
found
much.
this
Awesome presentation. You get a lot of
entertaining. Thank you.
Yes, getting a lot of positive
Happy New Year,
comments. And I'm going to close out here by saying we have a couple of webinars that are coming up. I'm excited. Next week on the 4th, we have Vinteum Software giving their own presentation. Again, they are running a program free where you get a free website, and all you have to do is make an appointment, and they'll run through it, explain it to you so that you have your own website, autonomous from the management companies. I'm very excited. On August 5th, I've got Case 7 giving a presentation. They are a reserve study company. They have a very experienced representative giving a class, Nick Brenneman. And with that, we've also got a national representative coming in from Fannie Mae to explain the new law. So I'm excited about that. The following Friday on the 14th, I have the Construction Summit coming back. I'm excited to tell you we got Stone Building coming in. They're an engineering firm. And then we have a lot of requests for this EH1 class on the 19th with Tom Ingbaum from First Citizens Bank. So with that, I'm going to say have a great weekend. And thanks again, Jim. And thank you to all the sponsors and for just getting on today.